Hello everyone, this is a video to go over the LPP Flow Data web form in your browser. So you can use this if you're not very comfortable using your smartphone in the field, if you're a project coordinator, or maybe you have a lot of volunteers that you're coordinating and some of them aren't comfortable using their smartphone. As long as everyone records their observations in the field somehow, even on a sheet of paper, you can take that information when you come back from the field and input it here directly in your web browser. So you can access this by clicking on the link that we provide in your email, and it should open up this page right here, which is titled LPP Flow Data. And this is basically exactly the same as what you'll see on your smartphone. So it says, please fill out and submit one flow data survey per site for every sampling event. So when you're filling this out after your volunteers or yourself come back from the field, you need to click submit once for every single site that was sampled. And also, if you're wondering a little bit, you don't necessarily remember our flow observation procedures, you can click here. And it will open up a document explaining our flow observation procedures like flow level, flow type. So first of all, it's going to ask you, did you sample this site? And even if you didn't sample a site, we do want you to still submit a flow survey because it helps us understand if a site wasn't necessarily sampled, why might that be? Was it dry? Was it flooding? Any other reason? So yes, today in this example, we did sample this site. And also this little red star here means that any question with a red star next to it is required. That means that if you try and submit this, it will not let you submit a survey until you have filled out all of the required questions. I'm just going to reload so that red alarm goes away. So yes, we sampled this site. This next one is partner. So this is all of the names of participating LaRosa partners in 2022. So you will find your name here. I'm going to use Friends of Little Averill as an example. And based on what you input here, your sites will pre-populate into this section right here. So because I chose Friends of Little Averill, only sites nominated and selected for Friends of Little Averill will show up in this drop-down menu here. So you can see they have 3 sites. So I'm going to choose one. To write my name because that's required. And you can also see that the date and time are automatically pre-populated based on when I opened the browser. So for anyone doing this in the field with their smartphone, it's very easy because they don't have to worry about inputting the time. But for coordinators who are putting in flow information after the fact, you have to make sure to change the date and time to those that are on the field sheets or however your volunteers or yourself recorded that information. So say I'm doing this the next day after my volunteers sampled on the 11th. And I have to make sure to input the correct time. So, you know, maybe it was taken at 8:15 a.m. Just be sure to change the time. Then, of course, there's the lab sample ID, which is the 10-digit number we discussed in our training. And it will not let you input anything other than a 10-digit number with a dash 3-digit number. So this is just a fake sample ID that I'm using as an example. Next, there's the flow level, flow type, and visible turbidity. This is whatever your volunteers or yourself saw in the field. So let's say that flow level was low, flow type was base, and there was not visible turbidity. So these next two, capture upstream photo and capture downstream photo, are not required. You can see there's no little red star next to these. That's because when you're filling out the web form on your browser, you're obviously not going to be able to take a photo in the field upstream or downstream of the site. So these are not required when you're filling out the web form. But we would prefer that you do them if you're in the field doing it on your smartphone. Then, of course, any notes. Maybe there's a beaver dam that's in your site. Anything like that, anything new, unusual that you would like to let us know. And then you can click submit. And it will say, great, your data was sent successfully, thanks. So I will say the one thing about submitting on this web form is this is only ideal for submitting after the fact on your computer when you are connected to Wi-Fi. If you try to do this in the field, because you can't open up this form on your browser on your phone. In certain areas where you don't have service, it might be difficult to submit the survey, whereas on the smartphone app, it can save something in your outbox if you don't necessarily have access to service in the field. So if you are doing this in the field, always use the smartphone app. This web form is for those who are uncomfortable using the smartphone app in the field and want to do it after the fact, after you've returned from sampling. Okay, thank you, everyone.